Let's welcome back Blaine Bengals.
Blaine High School, where tonight we have a girls basketball cat clash for you as two teams that are neck and neck in the Northwest Suburban Conference do battle. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Hupp. Blaine hosting Spring Lake Park tonight. These two teams met last year at Spring Lake Park. Bengals coming away with a 50-47 come from behind win. Both these teams come in kind of banged up, a little bit of illness and a little bit of injury. So the Panthers will be looking inside to their senior co-captain, Bella Such, to lead the way. Such scoring in double figures in 14 of her last 16 games. The 6-foot senior has good touch from the outside, and they'll need her offensive presence to try to break down the various zone defenses that Blaine will throw at Spring Lake Park today. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Bengals, they're led by Molly Garber, averaging nearly 22 points over her last 6 games. And even though Blaine has only been 2-4 in those last 6, Garber is very much the offensive fulcrum. And with players like Marina Lafreniere out and Sadie Dominic questionable, Garber will be all the more important to score tonight for the Bengals. Should be a good one coming up next here on North Metro TV.
Metro TV News is your source for local stories. Highlighting the issues in your community, we bring you the news that's closer to home. Join us as we explore the stories all around us, every day at 2:30, 6:30, and 10:30.
Senior night here at Blaine High School. The travel team welcomes the starters and all senior starting lineup for the Blaine Bengals as they play host. And we take a look at head coach Chris Brewston as he looks on, his team having lost last night to STMA and their talented senior. Randy Etherton, meanwhile, looking on as well, and his team 9-12 coming in, 6-9, 9th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Meanwhile, the Bengals 11-11 on the season, 6-8, good for 8th in the NWSC. So it should be an interesting game tonight, not as much for who's playing, but who is out, as Spring Lake Park missing Michaela Thomas tonight. She's been out with a sickness. Brianna Nussbaum, the junior guard who normally starts, not starting, and we'll see how much she actually plays as the starter is being introduced for both teams. Blaine, meanwhile, banged up quite a bit in that STMA loss last night. They lost Marina Lafreniere to a knee injury, and Sadie Dominic is a game-time decision, so we'll see if Dominic comes off the bench, but she is an important player for this Bengals team, and it's kind of a game of attrition these days with illness and injury affecting both teams. As we look at the Northwest Suburban Conference standings, and you see there Maple Grove top of the table at 15-0, and Blaine and Spring Lake Park really kind of right in the middle next to each other. Panthers, as we said, underneath 500, below 500. Blaine kind of packed up there with Andover and Champlain Park at 8-7. But it'll be interesting to see how Spring Lake Park handles the multiple zone defenses of the Blaine Bengals, given that their point guard, Michaela Thomas, is out tonight due to illness. Senior night, so the big heads are in attendance. The Panthers wearing their road whites with the blue lettering and numerals, blue and red trim. Blaine in the home baby blues with the, never quite sure if that's black or navy blue trim, but white lettering and numerals. As we'll have our two spotlight players in Bella Such and Molly Garber tipping it up at center court to start things. It's back tapped right to Spring Lake Park, and they immediately turn it over, trying to feed underneath. Brianna Gorish looking underneath, but could not make the connection. So first turnover of the game. And here come the Bengals, looking to rebound from playing a tough team last night. They got down at half, 57-27. Played STMA basically even in the second half, but at that point, it was far, far too late, of course. STMA with one of the best players in the state going to South Carolina next year. And they shot the lights out, according to Coach Chris Brewston. As a jump ball is called, it'll stay down on this end with the Bengals. They hit their first 7 threes, did the Knights last night, and 9 of their first 11. And so no wonder they scored 57 in the first half. There's a little dribble drive. Grabbed the offensive rebound, pop back out, three-pointer on the way, no good. And a nice job grabbing the rebound by Brianna Gorish. We'll see her freshman sister, Brooke Gorish, and here's the first zone we're talking about, the 1-3-1 matchup zone in the half court. Chris Brewston will throw different kind of looks at Spring Lake Park all night long as that shot's missed. And the rebound snatched by Danielle Davis, who played a nice violin rendition of the national anthem to start things. Swung to the near side as we're just a couple minutes gone by here in the first half. There's a dribble drive, layup short, good pressure defense from behind by Cam Smith, and she pushes it ahead. Olivia Kesty puts on the brakes. Smith assessing her options. Back to Kesty, who thought about the three, dumps it down low to Such. She's doubled. Swung to the near side for Taylor Bergstrom, and her shot's off the mark, and another rebound for Danielle Davis. Kick to the corner. This is Annika Schloman An all-senior starting lineup. As we said here on senior night, there will be a ceremony to honor a very senior-heavy team as Davis lines up a three and misses it. So the rim pretty tight here in the early going. 2 minutes and we're still scoreless. Kesty fake to the three. Zone still employed by Chris Brewston. He'll pick up full court. He'll go 2-3, go 1-3-1 like he is here as Bergstrom thought about it. Could have called a travel, but didn't. Good ball movement by the Panthers results in a Kesty three that's off the mark. Good rebound, though, by Brianna Gorish. Her third already of the game. Bergstrom thought about it again, puts it on the deck instead, gets to the cup, lays it in, and draws a foul. Taylor Bergstrom, not normally a starter, but getting the spot start tonight. And she gets the game's first basket. The senior guard driving and scoring. Long on the free throws, so it's 2-0. Blaine looking to shake off the rust. Tough to play 2 games back-to-back, but that's the way the schedule shook out. Trapped out tie. Kesty rips it away. And they'll get a jump ball, so it'll go back to Spring Lake Park. So the turnover resulted, but good strength by Olivia Kesty to just rip the ball away. You double out high and then collapse, and that's what results. Smith across the timeline. Swung down low on the block. Such misses it, but there's Gorish grabbing the rebound. She's been titanic on the boards, and it's something that Coach Brewston talked about in my pregame conversation with him as a couple new players entered the game, and Mara Holly and Abby Pelkey. And Schloman and Lily Ramacher go out. Thrown up top for Such. But he talked about how Blaine is pretty undersized, and especially without Lafreniere. Smith leaves that rebound short. Such knocks it out of bounds, so it'll go to the Blaine Bengals as we are 3 minutes and 11 seconds gone by, and it's still just 2-0. So we talked about the fact that Blaine is pretty undersized, especially without Lafreniere, and so he was concerned about how well they'd rebound, especially in a zone. And Spring Lake Park has hit the boards pretty hard in the early going. Davis puts it on the deck, kicks to the corner, three on the way is long. Good effort on the boards though by Davis to back tap it. And a travel is called. First touch of the game for Mara Holly, the sophomore guard, averaging a little more than 8 points a game. Now Blaine will pick up full court. Kesty has her pass intercepted. Well read by Molly Garber. Bounce pass for Holly, who lays it up, and this is exactly what Coach Brewston and the Bengals like to do. Get out in transition, force turnovers, and turn those turnovers into points. Such kicks it out. Three-pointer on the way for Gorish is no good. Shooting numbers have been ice cold for both teams in the early going. Addie Bryant jogs it across, gives it to Garber. Crossover dribble, gets to the cup. And cannot get it to fall, but she will go to the line to shoot two. Just that little hesitation dribble, rejected the screen, went left, and drew the contact. Garber buries the first free throw. One foul, team foul apiece, as Brianna Nussbaum is into the game for the first time. She's been battling an illness. Rimmed in and out, so they'll stay. It was knocked out after the missed free throw by Spring Lake Park, so it'll stay down with the Bengals. Inbounded, Smith got a hand on it, but couldn't affect it. Davis thought about the long three, put it on the deck, and traveled. Third turnover of the half on Blaine. We'll see how much energy and juice Brianna Nussbaum has. Come coming back from the illness that had been kind of ripping through this Panther team. Nussbaum has it turned over underneath for Bryant, who lays it in. So both baskets for Blaine have been in transition, and they lead at 5-2. Nearly, they do force another turnover. Bryant gets into the lane, a little out of control, but manages to bank it home. Maddie Bryant, and that's going to force a timeout by Randy Etherton, who sees his team commit 2 turnovers consecutively that lead directly to baskets. And all of a sudden, Blaine, despite not shooting the ball well from the outside, races out to a 7-2 lead. Spring Lake Park, as we said, 9-12 coming in, 6-9, 9th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Blaine, meanwhile, 11-11 overall, 8-7 in the NWSC. So there is a little bit of a gap between these two teams. And Blaine certainly hoping that on senior night they can bounce back. As we said, they've been struggling, losers of 3 straight and 4 of the last 5. They'll again pick up full court. Bryant and Mara Holly pretty formidable at the top of that press. Just getting their hands up has worked wonders for Holly. Smith whips it to Nussbaum at the timeline underneath, and again, it results in a turnover. Just speeding the Panthers up has had the desired effect from this press. Didn't result in a turnover that led to points, but it did result in a turnover as Danielle Davis couldn't handle that pass. Or excuse me, Gorish. This is Davis, and Bella Such snatches down the rebound. Pushed ahead to Kesty. Garber recovers well. Kesty missed the shot. Gorish is there for the rebound, though, and she draws the foul, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Brooke Gorish, is a 9th grader. Brianna Gorish is a senior. As you see, Gorish has really controlled the glass in the early going. She drains the first free throw. Sister Brooke Gorish will get some minutes tonight. Played a little bit in the JV game. And as Taylor Bergstrom returns, and they go a little bit smaller, you give Brianna Gorish a bit of a rest. 7-4 our score. Inside of 13 minutes to play before half. Garber pops from the left wing, off the mark. Smith has it ripped away from her. Aggressive offensive rebound there, and then the shot wildly missed. And ultimately, Holly could not keep it in play. Abby Pelkey racing in to snatch that offensive rebound. So the ball goes back to the Panthers as they try to sort out this Blaine press. Could have been a double dribble. Instead, it's a turnover. Bryant loses it. And it's recovered by Bergstrom, and she commits the personal foul. Already the 6th turnover of the half on Spring Lake Park. 2 fouls apiece. First on Bergstrom. Gerber at the elbow, turns, shoots, gets her own rebound, however, and lays it in. Molly Garber with 3 points. Again, Spring Lake Park a little bit cautious, and Kesty can't track it down, and Randy Etherton's got his head in his hands, not understanding after they practiced why this press is causing so many issues. 7th turnover of the half. Meanwhile, we've got a hold on defensively, and I think it's going to be on Cam Smith. She looked bemused by that call. Maddie Bryant checks out. Sadie Dominic on in. She's an important player as she receives the pass right at the paw print at center court. She's a little banged up in the loss to STMA last night. As the layup is good, as Mara Holly's got 2 baskets. 11-4. Dominic steals it away for the Bengals. Swung to the corner. Holly thought about it. Instead, she drops it on the block. Size mismatch for Garber, who takes advantage. Taylor Bergstrom commits her second personal. Garber will get a chance at an and one. Great recognition of the switch and the size mismatch on the block, and Garber takes advantage. She's got 5. Make that 6. All of a sudden, it's a 10-point lead for Blaine. Finally, Spring Lake Park able to break this pressure, but Andy Etherton, his worst nightmares without Michaela Thomas coming true in terms of the ball security. And he talked about turnovers in our pregame conversation. Holly pushes ahead to the front court. Davis, pump fake, shoots the 3. That's off the mark. Big rebound by Pelkey there. And that is going to be the 3rd foul on Taylor Bergstrom. There's just nothing Bergstrom, as the shortest player on the court, can do about it when she's down low. Abby Pelkey with the size advantage, the height advantage. And Pelkey buries the first. Third trip to the foul line in this first half as Bergstrom has to go out. She hits 1 for 2, so it's 15-4. Largest lead of the game at 11. Meanwhile, the ball knocked out of bounds on the far side and into the Spring Lake Park bench by the Panthers. So Blaine will actually get another crack at it on this offensive possession. Holly for Dominic. Thought about the shot. She tested out her injury in warm-ups, decided she was good to go. Normally would start, but it's senior night. Meanwhile, a big block shot by Kestington and Garber. And that's big for SLP because it allows them to get it across the timeline now. They trap Smith at the top. Now Spring Lake Park has got to figure out how they're going to break this press. Kesty fakes the 3, skips a cross-court pass. First time in the game for Kylie Edwards, the sophomore. Spring Lake Park, all kinds of out of sorts on offense. No one looks to want to shoot. Gorish finally does, and her effort's long. Bella Such tracks it down, and she pops one from the baseline. But it has been 4 or 5 minutes since Spring Lake Park got a basket. Garber into the front court, splits defenders, and draws the foul. So it's a repeat of a pattern as Kylie Edwards picks up her first, and she had just come in for Bergstrom. Meanwhile, for Garber, this is already her 3rd trip to the foul line. She's got 7 points to lead all scores. Leaves that one short. But it's grabbed by Danielle Davis. She can't hit the bunny. And Such grabs the rebound. Smith thought about the long 3, but closed down nicely by Pelkey. They really extend that zone pressure, and that is bothering SLP tonight without their primary ball handler. 16-4 our score. And nearly another turnover, but it was on the line. Holly.
Number 22, Sophie Tiedemann.
Bengals. Nice catch underneath by Goris. She taps it to herself, and then she's fouled from behind.
Bengals number 24, Sadie Dominic. He's 3rd.
So Gorish goes back to the free throw line. and hits the first. First point in a while, and it ends a 14-0 Blaine run. She goes 2 for 2 underneath. Kicked out for Pelkey. Dominic wants a three. Off the mark, and Such is there to clear, and then she throws it off her teammate's leg. It's loose on the deck. Finally, a jump ball is called. It'll stay with Blaine. Counts as another turnover against SLP. 16-6 our score. Not a bad, I mean, Such, there's just they're just rushed, and that's causing all kinds of issues. Dominic hits from the corner. Pretty looping three-point shot by Sadie Dominic as she splashes home the first triple of the game for either team. Kick cross court for Gorish, who tries to move inside. Can't get it to go. And a lot of the shots are one and done as well. Garber. Back up top, Dominic thought about it, puts it on the deck instead. Little runner, and she hits. Pretty move. Sadie Dominic getting by her defender. She was questionable coming in, but she looks certainly healthy enough here. And it's now 21-6. Such attacking and misses. Bella Such held scoreless thus far. Dribble drive, are hard off the glass, and finally Gorish corrals. It's been Gorish or Such grabbing rebounds tonight for SLP. Another jump ball is nothing Kylie Edwards did, just Sophia Tyden just ripping it away from her, tying her up anyway. Brianna Nussbaum returns for the Panthers. As Callie Nielsen into the game for the first time, wearing some bright, distinctive pink shoes. The 10th turnover of the half, but Blaine turns it right back over. Edwards. They immediately double Such. That zone collapsing on Such. Nussbaum splits defenders and lays it in. Nice move by Brianna Nussbaum. Nussbaum, I should say. Three-pointer on the way, off the mark. Gorish grabs the rebound over Danielle Davis. She wants a left wing three. Off the mark, been too strong all night for her. Meanwhile, Davis and Such are battling underneath, and Davis is going to be whistled for her first personal foul. That's the team's fourth, so no one in threat, no one in jeopardy of going into the bonus just yet. Gorish whips it down low for Nussbaum, who misses the bunny. Such is there to grab the rebound and then turns it over. Trying to save it back in, and then Nussbaum steals it away and lays it in. That's going to get a 20-second timeout for SLP as they've clawed back to within 11 at 21-10 with a couple turnovers. Second timeout of the half taken by Randy Etherton, who's vigorously making points to his team. Meanwhile, Chris Brewston talking things over with the Bengals, who are doing what they want to do in terms of speeding up the Spring Lake Park offense, not letting them get into any kind of offensive rhythm, and just causing all kinds of havoc. 4 points apiece for Brianna Nussbaum and Brianna Gorish. Davis kicks it out for Garber. Now it's Spring Lake Park's turn to go zone. Three-pointer from the corner is off the mark, and Such is there on the weak side to grab the rebound. Back in that 1-3-1 matchup zone. It's caused the Panthers issues, and right there, well read by Dominic, who steals it away. Poked away from Holly, rather, and it'll stay with the Bengals. 11-point lead for them, inside 6 minutes to go here, first half. Into the corner, Davis wants a triple. That's no good. Able to corral the rebound with Nielsen. Beautiful bounce pass underneath for Such, who lays it in. Bella Such, first bucket for her tonight with 5.5 minutes left. 21-12 now. They need to start stringing stops together. No dribbling from Blaine on this possession as Danielle Davis. Back out for Dominic for three is good. Sadie Dominic may be a little banged up coming in, but she's got 8, including the only 2 triples of the game, and it's 24-12. Nearly another steal. Nussbaum, little hesitation move, and Holly whistled for the personal foul. Point lead, tied for the largest of the half for Blaine. SLP for the longest time this half was stuck on 4 points. Couple starters, and Smith and Kesty return for Spring Lake Park. Three-pointer from the left wing is in and out. Dominic grabs the rebound, and she comes up limping a little bit. In the corner, three-pointer on the way, and that's off the mark. Rebound grab by Cam Smith. Whipped down low, and Dominic knocks it out of bounds.
Returning for the Bengals, 20, Maddie Bryant, and report D, Abby Pelkey.
.4:27 to go, first half. Cam Smith. Kesty. SLP trying to value the basketball. Underneath for Such, good entry pass. Finds Bella Such, and she lays it in. 4 for Such, and it's back to a 10-point lead. If SLP can trim this down to single digits before half, they'll feel pretty good. Whip to pass, Kesty, and then it's stolen by Nielsen. Nussbaum pushes into the front court. Little Euro step, misses the layup. It's whacked out to Garber, she pushes ahead, 2-on-2. Garber gets a step, can't finish the runner. Cam Smith across the timeline. Into the corner, three-pointer on the way, and that's no good. And we've got a foul underneath, I think. They're going to call Callie Nielsen, I should say, on the personal. 7th team foul. I'm not sure they realize that. Well, I guess because it's not offensive. The next one will have them in the bonus as Annika Schloman is back. Bounce to the corner. Pelkey wants a shot from the baseline and hits. Abby Pelkey makes it 26-14. Blaine out of the zone now, back to the man-to-man defense. Such down low. Good job by Garber to just wall up, and it'll stay with the Panthers, but they are definitely looking more for Bella Such on the block in the post. Pass stolen by Nussbaum. Nussbaum has been a nuisance defensively. That's her 3rd steal of the game. Smith puts it on the deck, gets a step, hits the runner. Cameron Smith with her first basket. On a nice move to get by her defender. Danielle Davis turns and misses. Edwards And then Schulman commits the personal, knocking it away from Edwards. You can see what Annika was trying to do, the senior. Team 6, so both teams right there at the bonus. Next foul results in a 1-and-1 as Callie Nielsen goes out and Gorish returns. Does allow Blaine to set up its favored press, and Molly Garber nearly turns it into a steal. If you telegraph those passes, Blaine will intercept it. Kesty cut off on the baseline by Garber. Fed down low in the lane for Such, and she goes through the rake of Garber and draws the foul. Garber collapsed from the corner, and Such just able to split those defenders. It's Molly Garber's first, team 7th. Obviously, that'll be a 2-shot foul for Such. Swishes the first. Bella Such a slow start, but now leading, or I should say second on the team. Nussbaum has 6. Such now has 6 as well, as Spring Lake Park has climbed back in this one. It's an 8-point deficit. At the top for Garber. Kick to the corner, Pelkey for 3, off the mark. Schloman on the weak side grabs the rebound. Schloman with a nice move. They wanted to travel, but Gorish snatches down the rebound instead. Cam Smith shoves it ahead for Nussbaum. Gorish, another 3-pointer on the way, and that's no good. She has been cold from beyond the arc. Garber kicks it ahead for Maddie Bryant. Davis drops it for Garber on the block, and she lays it in. Great ball movement from Blaine as Molly Garber finishes. She's got 9, and it's back to a 10-point lead. 1:13 and counting. Gorish down low for Such. Into the corner. That's an air ball as Garber snatches down the rebound. Pushes ahead for Davis just inside the 3-point line. She knocks him down. Danielle Davis has not been afraid to shoot tonight. That's the first one she's hit. It's a 4-0 run for Blaine to back to a 12-point lead. Kesty misses the bunny, and Garber grabs the rebound. 39 seconds left. We'll see if Blaine decides to hold for the final shot as Spring Lake Park goes back to the 2-3 matchup zone. Garber decides to take the 3 with 23 seconds left. She tracks down the loose rebound ahead of Smith and then turns it over, trying to hit Bryant in the corner. 7th turnover of the half on Blaine. And Spring Lake Park, after they were turnover machines in the first half of this game, first part of this game anyway, they've settled down. Still 12 too many for Coach Etherton, I'm sure, but make that 13 as Garber steps in front of the pass. Garber bodied by Kesty, missed the shot, 1 second left at the buzzer, no good. So Molly Garber leads all scorers with 9 points. The Bengals force 12 first half turnovers, and they lead it by a dozen at the halftime break. We'll be back with highlights, analysis, and more shortly from Blaine. 30-18 our score at halftime.
Wash your hands. Rubber while you're singing the song. Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Back here at Blaine High School, 30-18 our score as we get set to start the second half of action as we take a look at first half highlights here in Blaine. Bella Such coming out fired up on senior night here in Blaine, but it was a sophomore in Mara Holly who got on the board early, and then Molly Garber tracking down her own shot, lays it in. Good defense played by both teams, particularly Spring Lake Park, with Brianna Nussbaum collecting 3 steals, and then she makes a nice pass here. But ultimately, it was 13 turnovers in the first half for Spring Lake Park that allowed Blaine to open up a 12-point lead, and that's kind of where it stood the whole game, as Spring Lake Park was stuck on 4 points for much of the half before closing the half pretty well and clawing back to within a 12-point deficit. But the two teams sort of traded baskets as Randy Etherton and his staff talk second half adjustments. Scoring in the first half for Spring Lake Park, they were led by Bella Such with 6. Brianna Nussbaum and Brianna Gorish had 4 apiece. And Cam Smith and Taylor Bergstrom chipped in baskets as well. Meanwhile, for Blaine, they were led in scoring by their leading scorer, Molly Garber, 9 points in that first half. Sadie Dominic, who they weren't sure she was even going to play, didn't start because it was senior night, but the junior guard comes off the bench and chips in 8 points, and she's going to start the second half along with Mara Holly. That would be their normal starting lineup. Holly, meanwhile, and Bryant both had 4 apiece. 3 for Abby Pelkey and 2 for Danielle Davis. Panthers ball to start things. As we are underway here in the second half. Zone defense employed by Blaine. Kesty gives it over for Smith, who hits a long 3. Cam Smith hits the first 3-point basket of the game for Spring Lake Park. He had no 3-pointers in that first half. They also employ a zone out of the halftime break. They're back within 9. It's 30-21. From the baseline, Danielle Davis, and it's knocked out of bounds by Holly, so it'll turn over to Spring Lake Park. Good start to the second half for the Panthers. Again, Blaine decides to pick up full court. They had tons of success with this early in the first half, forcing the bulk of those 13 first half turnovers for the Panthers until SLP kind of figured out and settled down. Cam Smith aggressive out of the halftime break, and she draws the foul and goes to the line to shoot 2. Got by Sadie Dominic, who picked up her second personal. SLP starting the same 5 as they did in the first half as Smith drains the shot. So now she has 6 along with Such. Very balanced scoring, 4 apiece for Nussbaum and Gorish. Brianna Nussbaum is back as Smith goes 2 for 2. Makes it a 30-23 game. SLP has scored the first 4 points out of the halftime break. 3-pointer for Garber is off the mark. Dominic right there to lay it in. Smallest player on the court grabs the weak side rebound and lays it in. Holly gets her hand in the passing lane and knocked it out of bounds. Holly at that tip of that proverbial spear, along with Bryant, has caused a lot of issues, forced a lot of steals in that first half. Very active hands. They're kind of relying on Cam Smith to sort of dribble her way through. Danger of a 10 count, and they get it across to Nussbaum. Tries to go underneath to Gorish, and it's stolen by Garber. Pushed ahead and bounced for Dominic. Kind of crab dribble and draws the personal foul. So Sadie Dominic was already above her per game average. She came in averaging about 9 a game. She's at 10, despite not having started. tonight. First time to the free throw line for her, and she's short with the first. Oh for 2 on that trip. And Kesty pulls up just inside the midpoint. Down low for Such, who misses the bunny and can't get the rebound. Dominic quickly ahead for Garber. Floats one to the corner. Holly wants a 3 and hits. Mara Holly, the first time she's connected from deep. And it's back to a 12-point lead. Dominic forces another steal. Into the corner. That one off the mark from Danielle Davis, who tracks down her own rebound. Gives it back for Dominic, who misses the shot. Davis tied up with Gorish. The possession arrow keeps it down with Blaine. Bengals started the season 6-1, but have lost 3 straight, as we said, in 5 of their last 7. Their only win in the month of February, a 103-29 victory at Coon Rapids. A historic game, the largest margin of victory in Bengals history. Dominic's 3 is no good, and Such grabs down the rebound. Blaine stays in the zone. Holly just anticipates those passes so well, and Bryant comes out of there. Pushed ahead for Davis, over to Holly, who lays it in. Great transition defense and to offense for Blaine, and Spring Lake Park wants to take a 20-second, or full timeout, I should say, with 3 minutes gone by here in the second half and a 14-point deficit. And again, the same things that plagued the Panthers in the first half are hurting them in the second half. Bengals had pulled it to within 7, but Blaine is on a 7-0 run now, and that's been fueled by their tremendous defense. Molly Garber, as we said, has been tremendous as of late offensively, averaging 21.8 in the last 6 games and scoring 25 or more 3 times during that run. She's only been held under double digits 3 times this season. Last year, she had 12 along with Marina Lafreniere, I should say, who would have played in this game had she not hurt her knee against STMA last night. She and Garber had 12 apiece. In this game last year, Blaine won a close one, 50-47 over Spring Lake Park at Spring Lake Park. Bengals really outscored the Panthers 39-23 in the second half after being held to just 11 points in the first half. Out of the timeout, Panthers try to break the pressure. Holly, it's just anticipating things well as Bryant nearly forces another turnover. But Holly's been jumping up and getting all kinds of deflections. Smith wants a 3 from the top of the key and hits. Cam Smith brought her shooting shoes to the second half. She's got 8, and it's 37-26. She's got all 8, in fact, of the Panthers' points here in the second half. Davis from the right wing. Good. Danielle Davis has now just 1 for 5 from 3. Garber deflects it out of play and actually goes off Smith, so another turnover forced by this tenacious Bengals defense. Tied for the largest lead of the game at 14. Bryant fakes a pass and whips it to the near side. Back out top. Bryant kind of Euro stepped. Not sure she needed to do that, but it looked good, and Maddie Bryant has her first basket of the second half. And it's a 16-point lead. Another turnover forced, and how many turnovers have we seen SLP commit where they don't even give it across half the midcourt stripe. Garber pulls up on the baseline and hits. And now Blaine is starting to hit the shots that were not falling in the first half. Such grabs the pass. And Dominic takes the charge on the other end. Sadie Dominic, obviously the shorter of the players there, and she stood in there and took the charge. So that'll bring Nussbaum back for Bergstrom. And the first time tonight we've seen Brooke Gorish, the 9th grader, who broke her elbow playing goalie for the SLP soccer team. Finally back. This is her first game. Played a little in the JV game and now back there at the guard position for SLP. 44-26, an 18-point lead for the Bengals. They are on a 14-2 run. Kesty into the front court. Cut off by Garber. Double comes, but Holly will commit the foul.
Also, Bengals number 33, Mara Holly, her second.
Second foul on Mara Holly as Kesty at the line for the first time tonight. She's not scored yet. This is a player averaging almost 8 points a game, as you can see. So they need her offense, and she buries that one. Inside of 13 minutes to go. 44-27. Holly for 3 off the mark. Deflected to Dominic. And back out to Maddie Bryant at the top. Garber. For Dominic. Off the mark there. Good look. And Such grabs the rebound. Nussbaum. Gets the bounce pass back, tries to feed Such underneath. Somehow she grabbed it and laid it in. Great hands from Bella Such for her first basket of the second half. Cam Smith still leading the Panthers with 8 second half points. They're back within 15. Blaine's largest lead of the half at 18. Tried to feed Danielle Davis underneath, and Nussbaum could not save it from going out of bounds. Bengals sitting right in the middle of Section 7 standings in the QRF at number 26. Right near Anoka at 23, Cambridge Isanti at 25, as Garber turns over right shoulder and lays it in. Molly Garber with 4 points here in the second half and a team high 13 for the game. Now it's another steal for Blaine as Holly goes coast to coast and lays it in. Mara Holly adds to the total. 20 turnovers unofficially as Nussbaum goes to the deck. And now the largest lead at 19. Danielle Davis picks up her second personal foul, team's third. Kesty forced to the corner and loses it. I think she turned to pass right before. Just a little bit too soon, and Garber stole it away. Davis for 3, no good. Another three-pointer off the mark, but Garber, the second offensive rebound of the possession. Can't hit that layup. Spring Lake Park with numbers if they push. Kesty for 3. No good, and grabbed by Schloman. or rather by Ramaker. Schloman gets it to Garber for three. It's good. Beg your pardon, Mara Holly draining it. Holly having a nice second half as well. She's into double figures. It's 51-29 as that is turned over. 22-point lead.
Returning your Bengals number 14 at 24.
As Randy Etherton looks on, he sees this one getting away from his team. Bengals hoping to go above 500 again after an end a 3-game losing streak. Bounce to the middle for Pelkey. Bengals, you feel like, should be able to attack this zone pretty well, given that they play zone a lot, and thus practice it. Bryant's shot is off the mark. Got another entry into the game, and Tessa Wilkinson, the senior, on for the first time. So Coach Etherton really going deep in his bench, deeper than he normally does. Normally plays 6 or 7. He's going 10 deep tonight. Wilkinson grabs that miss by Cam Smith, and then they promptly turn it over. Pushed up ahead. They really whip that ball around. As Schloman gets into the lane, tries to waltz past Such, but Such commits the personal foul. They use ball fakes in a really impressive way as well. Just tell it's a well-coached team, as you see sort of try to fake right and then go left, and Such commits her second personal foul. Annika Schloman, her first points of the game. She started here on senior night, averaging about 3 points a game. It went off the mark. 52-29 our score. Smith draws the defense, and Maddie Bryant steps into the passing lane. Bryant loses the handle, gets too far underneath the hoop. Gets the ball back, loses her balance, and a foul is called. Not how she would have liked to finish that play, but she will take the free throws. Taylor Bergstrom picks up her fourth personal foul. Tripped Bryant, and she's off the mark with that one. Bergstrom really the only one in foul trouble with 4, and so Anna Nussbaum will return for the Panthers. Maddie Bryant, real senior leader for this Blaine team, but she's 0 for 2 on that trip. Smith pounds the dribble at the top. Thought about the 3. Gorish out for Smith. Off the rim, and it goes over the backboard. Smith had the shooting touch in the early going in this half, but he has since cooled. (52-29) our score. Spring Lake Park continues to play zone as Pelkey goes over her right shoulder. Bryant tried to chase it, but it turns back over to Spring Lake Park. Yeah, so it's an interesting Section 7, given that there's a lot of teams that are sort of bunched in the middle with Anoka, Cambridge, Isanti, and Andover, along with Blaine. Tried to pass it to Such underneath, and they'll say that Spring Lake Park tipped it out of play last. 23rd turnover. And meanwhile, Schloman commits a turnover you don't often see, stepping over the line to give it back to Spring Lake Park. How prophetic was Coach Etherton talking about careless turnovers and just taking care of the basketball, and that would be the most important thing tonight. As Brianna Nussbaum draws the foul and goes to the free throw line. She had 17 in this matchup last year. Just 4 as she's been battling illness recently. In and out with the first. Ramaker goes out after she picks up her second. Nussbaum 1 for 2 from the charity stripe. And it's a 52-30 game. Schloman. Spring Lake Park now back to man-to-man defense, or really extending that zone. 22nd timeout taken by Chris Brewston. First timeout taken of the game as they try to get themselves organized offensively. Spring Lake Park, meanwhile, in position for a 4 or 5 seed in Section 5AA, depending on how they finish the season. And they'd likely have to face top seed Maple Grove if they won their opening round game. Crimson having a monster season, 15-0 in conference play. Senior night here at Blaine. And if you can't dance to Everybody Dance Now, you just don't like dancing.
Returning for the Bengals, number 23, calling card number 50.
SLP's next game, they host section rival Osseo on Friday. The Bengals, meanwhile, welcome Centennial here on Friday in what should be a good one between two teams that are having good, maybe not great seasons, but good seasons. And Bryant out of the timeout attacks the cup and lays it in. Nussbaum tried to take the charge, but she was just a little bit too far underneath the basket. Borish strains a 3 from the corner. Top of the key for Bryant, whips it to the corner. Schloman pops it back for Bryant. Probing that zone, trying to find the gaps. Ramaker, good pass to her, and Smith will toss it ahead for Olivia Kesty, who missed the layup. Kesty has just had one of those nights shooting for Spring Lake Park. Great look ahead, though, for Cam Smith. And Ramaker has her shot blocked by Smith, but gets the rebound back, gives it to Molly Garber, who does what she does. She's got 6 in the second half and 16 for the game. Smith, pump fake into the lane, pulls up at the free throw line and hits. Cam Smith with 10 now in the second half. (56-35), a 21-point lead. Largest lead has been 23. Inside of 6 minutes remaining. Ramaker smashes a 3. Good to see Lucy Ramaker, who averages nearly 5 a game, get her first basket. Garber, meanwhile, knocks it out of play in front of Kesty. Cam Smith, the only Panther in double figures with 12. Borish wants a 3. That's too flat. Such there to lay it in, though. Ella Such has been dynamite on the backboards. And she's into double figures now as well with 10. Davis thought about a long 3. Instead, she blows by Gorish and lays it in. Davis, effective use of the pump fake. She's got 5 in the second half. Back tapped and Gorish collects. Gets it back from Kesty and hits. Brianna Gorish, her second triple of the second half. Makes it 61-40. Not much in the way of threes for either team in the first half, but the second half has been a different story. That one off the mark, however, and onto the wiring.
Return to Panthers number 20, Brooke Gorish.
Nearly another turnover forced by this tenacious Blaine defense. They're showing no signs of letting up, and as we said, that defense leads to offense. As Cam Smith will go back to the free throw line, drawing the personal on Maddie Bryant.
Call it Bengals number 20, Maddie Bryant for second.
Her second, team's fifth. Cam Smith, what a second half she's having. Had 2 at halftime. And up to 13 now for the game. 1 for 2. 20-point lead for the Bengals. Romiker wants another 3. That's off the mark. And Molly Garber continuing to get after it. Right at her season average of 16.5 points a game. Senior night festivities to follow, and the seniors, the bench, it's going to be a line change coming up here for Chris Brewston as 4 Bengals get set to check in. Good backdoor cut by Gorish, and she lays it in. Brianna Gorish is maybe been the bright spot, one of the bright spots offensively. She's up to 12. 3 players in double figures for SLP. Gorish with a couple triples and has just been really, really solid rebounding as well tonight. Smith trying to dribble out of trouble here. Lines underneath for Gorish, gives it to Such, who can't finish the layup. A nice job by Brooke Gorish to give it back for Brianna Gorish, who hits the 3. And I've just said Gorish more times in 30 seconds than I thought possible. Timeout for Spring Lake Park and Randy Etherton with 3 minutes left. Brianna Gorish, a little 5-0 spurt herself, has pulled SLP back within 15. Brianna Gorish now leading all scores, or leading Panther scores, I should say, with 15, including 9 or 11, I should say, in the second half. Had 4 at halftime. 3 triples for Brianna Gorish. 3 3-pointers in the second half for Blaine. 5 for Spring Lake Park as Cam Smith and Brianna Gorish have come alive. And given the Panthers a fighting chance, still 3 minutes remaining, but obviously they need to get some stops. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, Caitlin Wozniak, a sophomore, is in. Sophia Tyden. Still have Garber and Holly out there, but they're going a little further into their bench. Maybe getting some good free throw shooters out there. Team fouls still not an issue. 4 for Spring Lake Park and 5 for Blaine. Panthers pick up full court, hoping to speed the Bengals up and force some turnovers. Interesting to see full embrace of the shot clock next year, how that changes things. Talking to Coach Etherton, he said They've played with it a couple times this year and hasn't really been an issue. Neither one of these teams is a real grind it out, slow it down kind of team. As Cam Smith hand checks Holly out at the paw print. Fifth team foul of the half on SLP. But right there, you just saw the clock go from 3 to 2:20. And obviously the Panthers couldn't get any closer, so you gotta make something happen as Garber handles out high. Panthers starting to extend their pressure, and Bengals kind of just playing keep away as finally Such commits the block.
Panthers 45, Bella Such, her third personal foul, team 6.
Team 6 though, so still another foul to give for the Panthers. Kesty whistled for the personal there, and they give it, and so 1 and 1 as Molly Garber steps to the free throw line. Garber with 9 in the first half, 7 in the second half. Her fourth made free throw of the game. It's not hit a 3, but $17 now for Molly Garber. Makes it 63-46. Smith into the lane. Gorish wants another 3. Off the mark. Solid rebound pulled down there by Wozniak. Bengals content to toss it around with about a minute and a half left to go. They'll improve to 12 and 11 on the season as Holly gets to the cup and lays it in. Mara Holly in double figures as well. She's had a nice half with a couple threes to her credit. 65-46 and another turnover forced. 24th of the game unofficially. 1 minute to go. 21-point lead as Garber is fouled by Such. So now Such and Bergstrom both with 4 fouls. And it means Molly Garber steps to the line for the 1 and 1. Garber with 9 in the first half, now 9 in the second half, 18 for the game. Continuing her hot streak in these last 6 games. Off the mark with that one. It's a 20-point lead for the Bengals as we have a minute left to play. Edwards can't haul that down, or Nielsen rather, in the corner. Nice applause as a couple of the regulars are replaced. And Kesty fouls Holly. Sadie Dominic and Mara Holly didn't start, not being seniors, but they have been impact players. Dominic with 10 for the game, and now Holly.
Panthers picking number 5, Sammy Showrun. And number 12, Lauren Kaspers.
Holly buries both free throws there. She's got 18 for the game as well. 68-46. Nielsen puts it in. 68-48. Blaine had just rattled off 8 straight to really pull away as Nielsen steals that pass with 24 seconds left. Spring Lake Park will fall to 9-13 on the season and 6-10 in NWSC play. Bengals, meanwhile, will improve to 9-7 in conference play and 12-11 overall.
Basically, right after the game break, they start.
Holly will dribble this one out. Molly Garber leads the way on senior night here for the Bengals with 18 points. And the Bengals earn a comfortable 68-48 win over Spring Lake Park. I'd like to thank Director Ted LaRue and our entire crew at North Metro TV. I'm Bill Hupp saying goodnight from Blaine High School. The Bengals win on senior night 68-48 over Spring Lake Park. Thanks for watching this exclusive presentation of high school girls basketball on North Metro TV.
Thanks for coming out tonight. A short little minute here. The girls kind of gathered themselves. We're going to celebrate our
1, 2, 3.
senior
I'm in
night.
channel 2,
Here we
so.
send them off.